I never in my life imagined this, that I should one day publicly or privately and publicly ask the Holy Father to condemn such acts which he supports, as it was with the Abu Dhabi statement on the equality or diversity of all religions, which I did, and now with these horrible acts of idolatry in the Vatican. And then I could never imagine that I have to do a defense of the first commandment in the church, of the most basic, that idolatry is against divine revelation, that you cannot perform idolatry acts. In the Catholic Church, this is for me already the peak, the culmination of all the evils which were already accumulating in the past decades. But it is a demonstration to which extent the evil, the apostasy, the betrayal of Christ penetrated in the church with this manifestation. And even Pope Francis, unfortunately, defends the veneration of these Pachamama idols, in saying there were no idolatrous intention using them. But how we can discover the intentions? We cannot see the heart. We see the heart of the people. We can only observe the acts, the exterior acts, and the exterior acts were, in all evidence, acts of religious cult, bowing, revering, and even prayers towards a wooden statue which is not representing neither a saint, but it was demonstrated it is, and even the Pope said this was Pachamama, and Pachamama in the entire culture of the indigenous American people, South American, is a concept of a kind of goddess. And so this is against evidence to deny that it was not idolatry. And so we have to say it was idolatry. And we have to ask the Pope, and I ask, to condemn this. And not only to condemn, to make acts of reparation. It has to be done, the Pope the First in the Basilica of St. Peter, to make a service, prayer service of reparation to the Divine Majesty, and in the Church of Transpontina also. But you know this, the evil has a logic in itself. And the evil wants to reach always its culmination. So when you start to deny one truth, or to obscure one truth, or to present this in a relativistic, ambiguous manner, so it is in self already it's like a virus in the body. It's already there, and a virus wants to develop itself. And when you not resist this, it will by time conquer the entire body, as the cells of the cancer. They're spreading. But it's sufficient one cell of the cancer to have in the body, and not controlled. And then it will occupy and conquer. And so we have now the evil of the relativism, doctrinal relativism, doctrinal ambiguity, which we have already partly in some expressions of the text of the Second Vatican Council, like that we adore together with the Muslims the one God, or that man is the center of and the culmination of all what exists here on earth, or that you have a natural right by your nature itself to choose, to have the freedom of religion. It could be explained that you cannot be forced to another religion. This is another meaning, but it means also that you have the liberty to choose a religion. Even so, the text of the Vatican Council says that every person has the obligation to seek the truth, and this is the Catholic Church. But in another, further, says that you have the freedom of religion rooted in your nature.
This is all from the Second Vatican Council.
Yes, this is in the text of Dignitatis Humanae. And so it is ambiguous. It is not clear. And the consequences after the council were that in all Catholic, almost all Catholic seminaries and theological faculties, and in the episcopate, and even the Holy See, promoted the doctrine that you have really a right, every person, to choose his religion. No, you have no right to choose idolatry. You have no right to offend God through idolatry or through blasphemy. And this is already here rooted. I mean, if you have a right by God given to you by nature, also to be able to choose acts of idolatry, like the Pachamama. So, when it is rooted in your dignity of man, even to choose a Pachamama religion, this is the last consequence of this expression of the council text. And I repeat, it was this expression is ambiguous. It had to be in another way formulated to avoid these applications in the life of the Church, which we had also in the Assisi meeting of Pope John Paul II in 1986, and the other repeated, where even idolatrous religions were invited to pray in their manner, so in the idolatrous manner, for peace. We see already these moments present, but now these which we witnessed in the Vatican, the formal performance of idolatrous acts in the Catholic Church, in the heart of the Catholic Church, in St. Peter, it is the triumph of the evil, in this manner. But we have to pray and to make reparation for this, and to implore the divine intervention of God. And God will intervene, because it is His church, it's not our church. Our church is not, the church is not in our hands in the first time. Now, in this time, many Catholics have the temptation. Now we will take this in our hands, and we will resolve. Enough is enough, we will resolve. This is human behavior. You can so behave when you have a party or an organization, but not the church. The head of the church is Christ. And so they say we will declare the Pope not more Pope for several reasons, or the See of Peter vacant, or Pope Benedict the true Pope, and all these solutions are simply human solutions, which will not give a greater clarity, but will confuse. It is human. We have to stay, and it's also running away from the Golgotha of the Church. And we have to say, no, stay with us on the Golgotha, and the Church will resurrect if we have faith. Golgotha is not the last station. It's the 12th.
That's right.
And then comes the resurrection. And oftentimes, when the enemies think they are powerful, they are proud of what they did in the church, destroying the Catholic faith, destroying the Catholic liturgy, adapting the church completely to the world. And they have power. And they are thinking, now we are finally, we reached our goal to completely adapting the Catholic Church to the world, even to paganism. And then will God say, "You foolish," and will show them that He is the Lord, and will, as Our Lady, our Blessed Mother Mary says in the Magnificat, "Deposuit potentes de throne." He got deposed those powerful from their thrones, and exalts the humble one, the little one in the church. And this will come. We have to believe in this and have this supernatural spirit. And we have to make a net and a kind of army, spiritual army of prayers, a chain of acts of reparation. This is our army, this is our weapons. Of course, also a chain of public acts of profession of faith, of defending our faith, of apologetics, and to train also the spirit of the militant church, to train us also in the spirit of, even I would say, of martyrdom. We have to be prepared that we will be persecuted, and the entire church. But this will bring the true flourishing of the church. We have not to be fearful only of this short passing life, which we are here on earth. St. Paul writes, if we would believe Christ only in this life, we would be the most unhappy people on earth. I paraphrasing St. Paul. He writes about the resurrection of Christ. If Jesus Christ is not risen, and so we will be believing only on the earthly Christ, who is not resurrected, and then St. Paul writes, we will be the most unhappy, pitiable people here on earth. And the same, if we only want to be here on earth and have not the trust and confidence that our homeland is heaven, and God will reward all what we have done with a sincere heart and pure intention for His kingdom here on earth. Even if we had to suffer, more to suffer than to triumph, it will bring to us heavenly glory, heavenly happiness in God. And we had done a very efficacious contribution to the restoring and renewal of the church. And so I would say we have to have this confidence, even this inner joy in midst of the darkness. I know to whom I believed. I know to whom I belong. I know that I belong to the army of the winners, of the conquerors, because Christ is our chief. He is Christ the King, and we are all His soldiers, spiritual soldiers. And so, and then we have Our Lady. She is she has a title. She conquered all the heresies. She destroyed all heresies. And so we have we are happy to be in the army of Jesus Christ, the King, and we are happy to be children of Our Lady, of our Heavenly Mother, who destroys all heresy. Our Heavenly Mother, who gave us her Immaculate Heart in these difficult times in Fatima, in her messages in Fatima, and she said, "This is your refuge. My Immaculate Heart is your refuge." And so, I would say we will continue to love our Mother Church, not to abandon our Mother Church, to implore the divine intervention in due time, in the time which God knows, to pray for the Pope, our Holy Father, to have the supernatural vision of his ministry, the Patrine Office, independent, who occupies now the Patrine Office. We will be faithful to the Cathedral of St. Peter and even be ready to give our life for this truth of the primacy of Peter and his successors, because this is divine constitution of the Church. And to pray for the Pope, for the actual Pope, for the current Pope, that God may fill him with his Spirit and touch his heart. And I hope, and so we will, in this way, we are the best friends of Pope Francis, his best friends. He has only one soul. He has only one soul. And every one of us has to be save his own soul. And we have to be also charitable, and we have to have love for our neighbor, and also for Pope Francis, to implore that he may also have, when he will appear before the judgment of God, and he will do this, that our prayers for him now will bring him at least consolation in the moment when he will be judged by the divine judge. And then he will maybe remember us that there were so many little souls in the Church, maybe whom I condemned as the rigid ones, who were praying for me, who were demonstrating their supernatural love for me, and continuing to venerate me as the Vicar of Christ. And so we shall do this, and hopefully that God may fill him with the true spirit of St. Peter, of all the holy popes and martyr popes, specifically, I would say, that he may recognize these dangers and errors and ambiguities in which he collaborated in the past years. And so we will say, Most Holy Father, we are your best friends, really, and we want only your best, that you save your soul, that we will have a merciful judgment before God, but especially that you will be true in your work, in your words, a successor of the holy popes, of the martyr popes, and really be in all your words defend unambiguously Christ, the truth, even to the extent to give your life for the truth, not for Mother Earth. You have to give your life, not for climate change, not for Pachamama, not for the ideas and the agenda of the already partly apostatized clergy. You have not to give your life for introducing female ordinations to change the divine constitution of the Church thereby, to change the apostolic rule of priestly celibacy. You have not to do this. Give your life for Christ, defending His treasure which He gave to you, to your hands. And so, and all the little ones in the church who love the church will continue to pray for the church, for the Pope, and for the triumph of Christ the King and the Immaculate Heart of our Heavenly Mother.